Now, some flood-affected victims at Vutideke in the Pru East district of the Bono East region are asking for help as they work to return to normalcy. Now, the floods affected by the overflow of the Volta Lake upstream have heavily affected their lives. Residents are particularly concerned about the disruption that has caused the education of the people there. Correspondent Anna Sabit was in the area and now reports.
The flooding in the Pru East district, which occurred as a result of weeks of heavy rains in the area, is taking a toll on education as schools and learning facilities have been submerged in many communities across the district. Here in Vutideke, we came across these school children who have to walk through the flood waters to a nearby church that is currently serving as a school structure. They have this plea to authorities. Ajumai James is a displaced resident here. He tells me that the children of the area are the most affected and appeal to government to intervene.
This place where we come here is a very difficult place for us. The children are suffering, they cannot go to school, we cannot do anything, we can't even go to the nearby town to buy anything. The river overflows and cross all the roads, nowhere to go. So we are pleading the government to provide us any means so that the learning of our children, the studying of our young ones can continue.
Hasia Rudia, another resident here, shares with me how difficult life has been for residents here and asks that residents struggle even in accessing health care.
As we came here, you can see everything is gone. So just pleading with the government to come to our aid. They should help us with whatever he can use to help us, because even here, our new settlement here, it hasn't been easy. If you are going to the hospital, you even struggle. If care is not taken, you even lost your life. So we are pleading with the government to come to our aid.
Today, the parliamentary candidate for the National Democratic Congress for the 2024 general elections, Emmanuel Buam, is on a tour of the affected areas. He expresses worry at the situation.
It is heartbreaking to see a community that had life, a community that had enthusiasm, that had family, that had hope. Today, that community is no longer in existence. It is heartbreaking. And we keep telling people that these issues of flooding is not peculiar to Volta. It's not peculiar to the lower Volta. Those upstream here, we also have similar challenges.
He says school children in the area whose education has been affected will be writing the same exam with other candidates across the country, and hence some attention need to be given to these affected children.
As we speak, education has come to a halt in all these communities. All the communities, Frontier Kra, Jaklai, Vutideke, Atakuma, all the places we visited, education has come to a halt. Right from class 1 to JSS, no schooling. Yet they are going to face the same examination as their colleagues out there. And what are we doing about it? We need help.
He, however, wants stakeholders, including government, to come to their aid to help provide relief to the affected victims.
This is what we kept telling Ghana. We kept telling Ghana that Pru East has had its fair share of the flooding. Therefore, the nation should also give us a fair share of some relief items so that our people could feel that, yes, they are Ghanaians. They also belong to Ghana. They also belong to the Akufo-Addo Ghana we preach. So please, this is devoid of all political issues. Turn attention to Pru East.
Reporting for JoyNews, Anas Sabit, Vutideke.
Meanwhile, Member of Parliament for North Tong, Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa, wants the Finance Ministry to include the resettlement and compensation for the victims of the Akosombo Dam spillage in the 2024 budget. Speaking on Newsfile, the MP said these measures are necessary to improve the living conditions of the people and also bring about a sense of normalcy.
We need to find alternative houses so we can relocate the displaced people. The numbers have gone up a bit. I think North Tong is hitting 13,000 now. in terms of the displaced people, according to the latest NADMO data. So these are huge numbers. And even though our chiefs have donated land, and I must commend the chiefs, they say that anybody who is willing to come and put up housing here does not have to pay for the land, not even a knocking fee. You don't have to present drinks, nothing. Just come and take over the land and start. And I must commend the First Sky Group. We are working very, very fast. And then I must also commend Pastor Martin, who has promised that his church will also take up a housing unit. Mr. Ibrahim Mahama has also promised that he will also take up a few housing units. And he's already sent his engineers here to do a recce and to assess the land. This morning, he sent bulldozers here to start preparing the land for houses to be constructed. And we want to thank him very much. We are eternally
Now, Defense Minister Dominic Nitiwul says government is taking steps to bring lasting peace to the Bawku municipality. The Upper East Regional House of Chiefs is asking stakeholders to join government efforts at de-escalating tension, which has been on the rise in the areas. Now, speaking at a news conference after the European Union presented some armored vehicles to the Republic of Ghana, Dominic Nitiwul noted that steps are being taken to resolve the crisis.
Working very hard to ensure that Ghana remains very peaceful and that all persons who work for the security of this nation work to the best of their ability and are given the equipment that they need to be able to work. Specifically to the 4 people that you mentioned that apparently some people misjudge them and try to apprehend them, they are in fact members of the national security apparatus, and they were actually sent on official duty. There could have been there was some miscommunication somewhere along the line and mistrust. It's one of the things that we are trying to resolve. Because there's some bit of mistrust in the general Bawku area, people try to assume things that may not be right, and maybe because they don't have the initial information may try to do things that may not be right. But we are concerned about that mistrust and we're taking steps to address them. So we are taking steps to ensure that Bawku becomes very peaceful. We are taking steps to address the issue of general mistrust, and we are taking steps to ensure that not just Bawku but the entire northern zone is relatively peaceful and safe. If there are people who are not members of security agencies, we will let you know.
Now, President of the Apostolic Church Ghana, Apostle Aaron Amina, is demanding a restructuring of the fight against illegal mining. He says the current approach is not yielding the expected result because lands continue to be destroyed and water bodies are still polluted. Apostle Amina believes a new approach should tackle the big men behind the scenes. He spoke to Joy News at the climax of the 75th anniversary celebration of the Apostolic Women Movement in Accra.
Illegal mining, popularly known as Galamsey, is a major menace in Ghana, with its impact on the environment becoming severe on a daily basis. The activities of these miners have polluted water bodies and led to the death of aquatic life, whilst rendering farmlands infertile. Successive governments have tried to deal with the menace, but the situation still persists. President of the Apostolic Church of Ghana, Apostle Dr. Aaron Amina, speaking at the 75th anniversary celebration of the Apostolic Women Movement, said the approach to the fight must be restructured.
I want to say here is that the effort we've made so far did not succeed because we are cutting the branches of the tree, okay? We are not taking it from the roots. If we want it to die, let's go deep down and take the roots, okay? We are catching small people. There are big people under the roots. If we catch the big ones.
Now, the Ga Manye Teku II has promised to honor the legacy of the late Ga Manye by upholding the virtues of peace and the empowerment of women and girls in the state. He made this known as President Akufo-Addo and other Ghanaians joined him to bid final farewell to the Queen Mother of the Ga state, Manye Naa Dede Omaedru. The 89-year-old is revered for her achievements, including seeking the welfare of women and girls in the Ga State and beyond. Latif Idrisu has more.
Deafening sounds of musketry, mourners clad in red carrying pots on their heads with green leaves placed in between their lips. Others had their faces painted black with white stripes and wore beads on their ankles and knees. Traditional rulers from far and near were present to bid their final farewell to the late Queen Mother. Though it was of mourning, it was a moment of showcasing rich Ga culture, one the Queen Mother embodied as she pursued a legacy of empowering women and fighting for the welfare of girls. Some of the chiefs, including the chief of Aikan Doblo, Nii Amudodu, highlighted the legacy of the late Queen Mother.
She's done a lot of great things for the Ga State, and we remember her for that. But for now, we are mourning her. We only pray that in the nearest future we would find someone who would have her qualities as a Queen Mother to facilitate the development of the Ga State.
She has been a very great success for the women of Accra, or Ga, and then the girls, because she organized girls child education, and then women in trading. She did a whole lot of things which everybody needed to emulate and then continue from where she left.
We intend to replicate the things that she's done for the Ga State. She stood for the girl child, she stood for education, she stood for the liberation of the Ga State, and then she stood for the peace of Ga State.
The political class had their final farewells.
Okay. So the Vice President is just arriving at the funeral grounds. You're welcome. So that's the Vice President, he just came in.
Many people from all walks of life are here to commiserate with the Ga State, especially the King Nii Dede Omaedru, who is the Ga Manye at the moment. So that is why we're all gathered here today, to help support and to lay her to a final destination.
And they are happy to have worked with her as the Great Accra Regional Minister. That was some time ago. A very beautiful lady. She did very well in helping us create the Queen Mothers Association of the Ga State and the Ga State. She did her best to bring unity among the Queen Mothers in the Ga State.
She reigned for 59 years, born on 1934, just two years ahead of me, 88 years, and then she ruled very, very well.
Member of Parliament for Ododo constituency shared some personal encounters he had with the late Queen Mother.
She was almost like a mother to me. My house is just about 400 meters from her house. She used to whip me when I've not bathed in the morning, and she also feed me on weekends. Weekends, she used to give me banku and okra soup. She was a mother to me. She encouraged me to become an assembly member.
When he took his turn, the Ga Manye, whose tribute was read by a member of the funeral planning committee, Nathaniel Atto, eulogized the late Queen Mother amidst grief about the leadership void her passing away has created.
As a young girl of 29 years, Naa Dede Omaedru III accepted the mantle of leadership for the 60 years that she reigned. She demonstrated the essence of Ga royalty through her commitment to her people, especially women and girls, and secured her place in history as the longest reigning queen of the Ga State. As we arrive at the end of this chapter of our history, we must give thanks for her life. Let us remember her values, ideals, and all that hold her dear, and the causes she championed, as well as her passion for the Ga State. I promise to continue to honor the memory of our beloved Manye by ensuring that her legacy lives on to a future of peace, progress, unity, prosperity, and all for the Ga State. Manye, Yawo Jogba, farewell our queen. May the angels receive you well. Ga Manye.
The funeral rite continues through Saturday night as the Asafwa Cheme and Asafwa Nyame companies parade the caskets of the late Queen Mother through the principal streets of Accra under the direction of the Municipal Security Council, followed by a private burial ceremony. Latif Idris, Joy News, Accra.
Now, in a related development, most streets in Accra have been empty and deserted the whole day as shop owners respect and order to honor the late Ga Manye by closing their shops. Now, the Central Business District, which is typically buzzing and alive with daily activities, especially on a Saturday, was empty and at a standstill. Joy News has been speaking with some Ghanaians who say city authorities should have capitalized on the situation to clean the city.
I think it's very true if it has to do with sanitation, because right now as we are plying the street, I can see there are a lot of rubbish around, and we are actually coming from church and we are hoping to get vehicles, but then this place used to be crowded, but today since it's a bit okay, at least they could have used it for maybe a little cleanup, since it's a place they sell food and all that stuff. Looking at this place, it's not nice at all.
It's actually cool today, but then I wouldn't say it's cool, because it's actually disadvantage for other people and it's advantage for other people. Like me, like this, I went to work today, but then because there aren't much people around, I was like, there wasn't any much traffic and all that. But then because some people, they have to hustle small, and because of the curfew, me per se, I would have advised if there would be like a day, always, let's say in a month, there would be a day like this, maybe once in a month, whereby other like the people wouldn't come to market like this, and the Zoom line people will use this as an advantage and clean Accra. That would be very much cool.
Sales in markets have been relatively poor, very poor actually, and today being like this, you can see there is no one in town. So we came and sit and idle around. If we had stayed at home, we would have been very hungry. It is way better coming here than sitting at home. We were initially asked not to come, but we are hoping to sell off today's food like we did yesterday.
Happy these guys speak English. They are just this one.
Watching JoyNews Prime, and we'll take a quick break. We'll be back with more. Please do stay. Welcome back. Now, sister of former Prime Minister of Ghana, Dr. K. Buzia, says no matter how bad the civilian government may be, Ghanaians, especially the youth, should not consider a coup option. Now, Buzia says the consequences of military government are dire and should not be encouraged. Buzia, who witnessed military takeovers in Ghana, wants the youth to rather hold government accountable. She spoke to Samuel Mbura of our political desk.
The young men who have never seen coup d'etat before, if they have seen it and experienced it, they will never talk about coup d'etat. Never. What I have gone through and what others have gone through, I don't think, however bad a civilian government is better than a military government. However bad civilian government is better than military coup. I think if they haven't read about coups, they should go and find books and read about coups. Or they should contact somebody who was alive when coup d'etats were happening one after the other in this country. And they will never ask for coup d'etat in this country. If 5 o'clock you are standing on your veranda and they come and arrest you because they say there's a curfew, if you can't go out, businesses broke down, everything broke down, you wouldn't call for it. You see, the whole world is turning upside down. Things that are happening, you listen to them and you say, what is happening? So we should be ready, be prepared, tune our minds and say that whatever is coming, we are going to face it to make the best out of, make marmalade out of lemon and face it, but not coup. I don't think there's any head of state who really deliberately wants to punish his citizens. No, I don't think so. So if anything is going wrong or something, I don't think it's deliberate. He wants to leave a legacy. He wants to leave office that they say, oh, when Nana Akufo-Addo came, he did this. But circumstances are such, it's not allowing him to do it. I don't think he enjoys to see a Ghanaian suffering. No, I wouldn't. Him by nature is very kind-hearted, by his own nature.
Now, daily activities including showering, eating lunch, and a drinking hangout with friends after work may have implications on your ability to make children in the future. Now, that's according to the Fertility Society of Ghana. The society says while fertility concerns have conventionally been linked to female factors, recent research highlights the notable role of male fertility in the conception process. Now, my colleague Jacqueline Ansuma Yeboah had more in this report.
According to recent findings, male fertility contributes to up to 50% of infertility cases, as emphasized by Dr. Edem Hiaji, the president of the Fertility Society of Ghana. This revelation underscores a significant knowledge gap in terms of awareness, accessibility, and the quality of care related to male fertility issues.
In Ghana, the major causes of infertility will be low sperm count as a result of maybe infections that they've had in their youth. There is a cause from viruses which is called mumps. In mumps, I think it has different names in the local. Some people call it Jimirikutu, where there's a huge swelling. People think it's something you must go through as puberty. It affects teenagers a lot, but most of the time that virus called mumps affects the testes as well, and it may damage some of the testicular organs. I said during the presentation that there is a global decline in sperm count over the years. 70 years ago, 1950, the levels were around 113 million sperms per mil. By 1990, it had dropped to 66%, which means like half. And then now the rate of drop is even increasing, and it's thought that is due to a lot of pollution in the world. Generally, as the world became more industrialized and there's more pollution, that is also affecting men.
Dr. Hiaji called upon the government to extend support for the enhancement of comprehensive fertility services, emphasizing the need to bridge the existing gap.
Infertility does not respect your social standing. It can affect the poor man, it can affect the middle-income man, it can affect the rich man. But sadly, the richer man may be more able to find money to look for help, whilst the ordinary person may not.
Well, that's all we have for you on JoyNews Prime. With me, Razak Musbao. There's more stories on myjoyonline.com. Please have a lovely evening.